Hello fellow woodworkers, welcome to this week's edition of the Garage Workshop, and this week we're going to be making a mount for my pocket hole jig. Roll the intro. So if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you would have seen my recent videos on my new workbench. I will put links in the description. I'll try and do a playlist if I can, but I'll put links in the description. But the last thing I did was add this router station, and when I did it, it gave me some really good ideas about other things that I could potentially put on my workbench just to make it feel a little bit better and to increase its use. So one of the things that I decided when I put this in was I was going to use this gap to create a similar lift up shelf situation that I've got here, but for my pocket hole device, because you'll know from my videos I use my pocket hole jig quite a lot. So I've been onto Temu. I've got some more of these really good folding, well, sort of folding hinges, I suppose is the best way to describe them. I'll put a link in the description, not sponsored. So I've got some more of these. So I'm now going to construct a little fold out bench that I can permanently attach my pocket hole jig to. So first thing to do, get some measuring up done and then get some wood picked. So as I've mentioned in a lot of my recent videos, I'm really taking my time with my measurements. That measure once, measure twice, cut once is really in my mind. So I'm trying to get a bit more precision in what I'm doing, particularly when I'm working on projects like this where something is fitting in something else, where I'm not making something from new. So I marked out this piece of plywood. This is actually the same plywood that I recently used to make the storage unit, the T-track storage system. I've got a couple of nice pieces left over. It's a really nice piece of soft plywood. So I offered it up. It was cut very well, as you can see, down to the measuring. And then I pocket holed it. Interesting to use pocket holes when this video is about pocket hole. But I put pocket holes in the top of this piece, not just the sides. I just wanted to make sure I could keep it all in place, really. Fixing it in was actually very problematic. You can probably see there. It was a bit of a stretch doing it, but I got there in the end. And then I got this other piece. This is the last piece of that same piece of plywood. And I just wanted to cut it down to size. I wanted to give myself a bit of room either side to put the sort of wood supports in, which you'll see at the end. But I didn't want it to be too long. And I then popped in my little trusty little plunge saw, my Parkside plunge saw, just to make a couple of cuts. I didn't use the Evolution surface of this. I could have done, but I just wanted to get a really nice finish on the cut. So obviously my better blade, my higher teeth blade, is in my Parkside plunge saw. I then measured it up, and this was more about the placement of the hinges than anything else. You can see there, I'm just marking a line on where I wanted the hinges to sit inside it because I wanted a little bit of an overlap. I then busted out the hinges. Again, link in the description. These are the hinges that I bought from Temu. I'm sure you can get them other places in a much better quality, but I want to say these were something like £5 or something like that. But they're actually really nice quality. Well, I'm calling them hinges. They're not really, are they? They're probably like shelf supports, but they're actually quite nice quality, and I wouldn't spend a lot of money on something that's just going in like into my workbench. I then just started the pre-drill. I then used the self-tapping screws. I don't know if that's the right thing to use, but I just find they've got a really good take on the drive on the head when you drive them in, and they don't tend to move. The next thing was to offer it up. I've slightly speeded this up, but it was a bit of a struggle getting that first bit in. Once obviously that was in, it was a lot easier to pre-drill and fit the rest, but that first bit was a little bit tricky. I'm not going to lie, and at one point I was going to take it on, take it off, and I thought no, once it was on, it was staying on, it wasn't coming off again. But it worked nicely. Then I made a measurement. It's 8.5 centimeters wide, my pocket hole jig. So the whole width of that piece of wood is 31. So I just did a bit of quick maths, got it exactly where it was, made sure it was lined up both sides, and then I just used my marksman to know where to drill the holes. They're brilliant, those marksmen, absolutely fantastic. Can't recommend them highly enough. I then offered it up, and after a while I settled on pocket hole screws because I just thought they were about the right depth, and actually there's a lot of gap in the sort of screw hole where you put the screws in. There's quite a lot of depth. I then took a little reading to get the gauge of how deep this wood needed to be, and obviously this is 18 mil, it needed to be 25. So what I did was I got a piece of MDF and just cut it off and stuck it underneath, which actually gave me a little bit of a problem later in the video. But I just wanted something so that when I'm doing when I'm pocket holding the wood, it doesn't sort of rock either side. I've had that previously where, especially if you've got a larger piece, you're sort of moving it and it's sort of tilting. If there's a flat bench there or a flat sort of wing either side, then obviously the wood that you've got can't move too far. So after cutting them up, I practiced some new glue patterns and I stuck them together. I stuck them underneath, and that together gave me the 25 mil, I think it was 25 mil depth I needed to be level with the Greg pocket hole jig. So glued them up, clamped them up, used far too much glue. You can see there was a lot of glue spill out here, which took a while to clean up. I then just clamped them on either side, and the plan originally, which you'll see in a minute, was to just pop some staples in from underneath, but I did slightly change that plan after this little bit. Okay, as you can probably see, the wood where I've pinned it underneath has lifted up, so it's actually rising up on a sort of angle rather than angling down. It's the same as the back. Now, I didn't want to drill into this. I wanted to keep it nice and clear. I could drill up from the bottom, but to be honest with you, I don't think that's going to do it. So what I think I'm going to have to do is just put 2 screw holes in there, because at the moment this is now raised above that level, or I just completely abandon them and take them off, which I don't really want to do because I want the wood to stay there. So I'm just going to have a think about the best way forward. So I actually decided to just take them off, and I actually recut a new set of plywood and a new set of MDF on that side. I just wasn't very happy with it. So I glued them again. You can always see one's gluing with 5 kilograms on it. And in the end, I had a lot of weight on it. It was 20 kilograms, I think. But I glued it and fixed it, and it took really well. Okay, so fellow woodworkers, as you can see, the mount for my jig onto my workshop bench is finished. Mostly a success, I would say. A couple of things that really haven't gone brilliantly. In the end, I just ended up sticking this wood on the top to get around the problem that you saw in the clip. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. A couple of things that are the issue. Firstly, with these folding shelves, the brackets, they're not lying flat. Now, I had this with my other set, and it took a little bit of fiddling and a little bit of bending of the metal to get them to sit proud. So I will do that off camera. I need to sort of get underneath and see exactly where it is. These bits on the top, I just stuck them with glue in the end, and to be honest, they're more sort of functional than anything else. It's just so when I'm pocket holding wood, it doesn't sort of balance either side, which, especially with bigger sheets, is a problem. Apart from that, I'm really pleased. As you will have probably just seen in the video, hopefully, it has had 20 kilograms on it, and each of these clamps, I think, are rated for 25 kilograms each, I think. I'll try and put it on the screen what they are rated for, but to me it's completed, it's fulfilled its purpose, which was to give me a mountable pocket hole jig. Obviously fixing it in means I don't need the pocket hole clamp anymore, and it's there to use whenever I need it. So overall, a real success. If this is your first time at the Garage Workshop, thank you so much for watching. Please can I ask you to subscribe, like and comment. I hope you all enjoyed this week's video from the Garage Workshop. If you are a regular viewer and a subscriber, thank you so much. Please don't forget to like and comment too. I'll catch you on next week's edition of the Garage Workshop. Take care, fellow woodworkers.